Okay, welcome to exam focus tutorial. If today is your first time of tuning to our channel, try to subscribe, like and comment so that you get future uploads. And then if you are on Facebook, it's still exam focus tutorial. Try to follow us on Facebook, like, comment and share. Now if you're enjoying our content, try to tap the subscription button so you get notified when there are future uploads. So back to business. We are going to be looking at the topic square, perfect square, square root and surd. If you take note, all the values here look similar but they are not totally the same. Square, perfect square, square root and surd. Let's start with square. Square of a number is that number to the power of 2. It also means multiplying a number by itself once. Let's take example. If you look at this example here, square of 1 is the same thing as saying 1 times 1. 1 multiplying itself once, it will give you 1 raised to the power of 2, which is what? 1. Square of 2 is 2 times 2, which is 2 raised to the power of 2, which is what? 4. Square of 3 is 9. Square of 4 is 16. Square of 5 is 25. And so on and so forth. So now, after that, we're going to be looking at the next statement. So quickly take notes. 8 times 8 is 64. 9 square is 81. 10 square is 100. Now that takes us to the next topic, perfect square. What are perfect square? So the result we get for squaring any number is a perfect square. The result we get for squaring any number is a perfect square. For example, the square of 1 is 1. 1 is a perfect square. The square of 2 is 4. 4 is a perfect square. The square of 3 is 9. 9 is a perfect square. So if you take note, 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, and so on and so forth are all perfect squares. When you multiply a number by itself, the answer you get is referred to as what? Perfect square. It's called perfect square. Okay, so let's take example. For example, if you look here now, we have 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, and so on and so forth. All these are perfect square. Take note, these are perfect square. Okay, let's quickly look at square root. Square root. A number that gives another specific number as a result when you multiply it by itself is known as what? Square root. Note, it indicates a value raised to the power of half. So anytime you see a value raised to the power of half, it's the same thing as the square root of that value. Example, here we have s raised to the power of 1 over 2, which is s raised to the power of half. It's the same thing as square root of x. This is one of the law of indices. For those of you who have learned indices, in case you have not learned indices, it's in our videos. Go to our playlist, take note, just go back to the videos, check back. In one of the law of indices, you will find this. So that you get to understand, study the topic on indices in this channel. Then you understand this. Then we'll look at surd. What is surd? The square root of non-perfect square is known as surd. The square root of non-perfect square, look at it, the square root of non-perfect what? Square is known as surd. So when you are looking for the square root of non-perfect square, we say they are surd. Remember what we said are perfect square. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36 are perfect square. That is to say, number like 2, 3 are non-perfect square. 5, 6, 7, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All those numbers are example here. Now we have square root of 3, because 3 is not a perfect square, this is a surd. Square root of 5, because 5 is not a perfect square, this is a surd. Square root of 6, because 6 is not a perfect square, we have surd 6. Then 7, because 7 is not a perfect square, we can call this surd what? 7. So the square root of non-perfect square is known as surd. So quickly, if you are joining us for the first time, please go through other videos. You see our content specifically on surd. go through the videos in the channel. We have different topic, how to rationalize sword as a topic. Go there, go and watch it. Take time. There are laws in sword and all that. Go and study it, sit on it. We have in this channel videos on sword. Go and settle down and watch that. But specifically today, we're going to be looking at what we have for today. So please still follow us. Don't run away. Just settle down. We have a lot to show you today. We're going to be showing the secret of looking for square root of perfect square and non-perfect square, meaning square root of perfect square and surd, square root of perfect square and non-perfect square. So we're going to be looking for square root of all these values and square roots of some of the values here, square root of some of the values here. So we're going to look at it. Okay, now we're going to be looking at square root of perfect square and non-perfect square. Take note, we have discussed about perfect square and non-perfect square if you have been following the teaching. So now we want to look at find the square root of the following. We're looking at square root of 3, square root of 4, square root of 5, square root of 7, and square root of 9. Take note, square root of 3 is the same thing as surd 3. Why? 3 is not a perfect square. Square root of 4 is a perfect square, so we can actually get the answer. What are the two numbers you multiply? What are the number you multiply by itself to give you 4? You can actually get it. It's a perfect square. Surd 5, because 5 is not a perfect square, so this is surd. 7 is a surd because it's not a perfect square. 9, we have a number you can multiply by itself to give us 9, which is 3. But let's get started. How do we do this? Surd 3. How do you solve for surd 3? What you do first is the same thing as 3 raised to the power of 1 over 2, like we stated. So 3 is the same as 3 raised to the power of 1 over 2. But you don't have to leave your answer this way, because this is in index form. This is in indices. You can leave your answer like this in indices, but this is practically not how to finally leave your answer. You want to take this in decimal. What do you do? Take note of your formula. That's the first thing to master, your formula. What is your formula? We have two formulas. Two formulas. So square roots of non-perfect square. So for non-perfect square, we have two formulas. Let's take the formulas one after the other. So take note, the first formula is square of a plus b is equal to square of a plus b all over 2 square of a. Or that's the first one. The second one, you can say square of a minus b is equal to square a minus b all over 2 square a, square root of a. So if you take note, these are the formulas for square root of non-perfect square. You can use any of the formula. So let's look at our first question, square root of 3. This, if we keep it like this, is in index form, in indices, but want to break it down. For example, we know the singular value for square root of perfect square. So what is the decimal form of the square root of 3? So let's get started quickly. Since we have known our formula, the two formulas are very important, but I would prefer we use formula 2. But we're going to use the both formula and we'll get our answer correctly. So let's get started. Okay, take note. We have surd 3 now. We're using first formula. Remember we said that first formula states that a plus b is equal to square root of a minus, or plus rather, plus b all over 2 square root of a. What does a and b symbolize here? It means two numbers that you can add to get 3. Two numbers you can add to get 3, and one of the number must be a perfect square. What are the two values you add to get 3 and to get 3? And one of the value must be a perfect square. And so if you watch carefully, you will observe that we have two values there. The two values going to be 4 and minus 1. So that is to say A is 4 and B is equals to minus 1. So let's try this using this method. Okay, so let's input into our method. So take note of A is 4 and B is minus 1. I said, first of all, what are the two values I will add to get my what? 3. So you look for one of the number must be a perfect square. Take note, one of the number must what? Be a perfect square. So take note, 4 here is a perfect square. 4 plus minus 1 will give us 3. So let's get started with this formula now. So therefore this will now give us, take note, now we say that we have 4 plus minus 1. This will give us 4 plus minus 1 is what? 3. So that is it. We are trying to check now. So let's input into our formula. Our formula is going to be, take note, this is our formula A plus, this is our formula which will give us, let's go, square root of A plus B over 2 square root of A. That's our formula. Okay, let's input now. Let's substitute the value. A is square root of 4 plus B is minus 1 over 2 square root of 4. So this will give us 2 square root of 4 is 2 plus minus 1 over 2 square root of 2 is 2. This will give us 2 plus minus 1 over 4. Then this will give us plus times minus is 2 minus 1 over 4. This will give us 2 minus 1 over 4. Let's turn 1 over 4 to decimal. Let's do a rough work where 1 over 4. Let's look at how to divide. 4 into 1 is not possible. You write down 0. Add 0 here. Put your point. 4 into 10 is 2. Remainder 2. You put the 2 here. 4 into 2 is not possible. You add 0. 4 into 20 is 5. That is to say that 1 over 4 is the same as 0.25 in decimal. So come here, we'll have that 2 minus 0.25. So let's subtract. 2 minus 0.25 is the same thing as saying 2.0 minus 0.25. So look at it. 0 cannot subtract with borrow, and we have 10 minus 5 is 5. This 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. And what we have left here is 1. So we have 1.75. Now take note, we call this try and error method. Try and error method, meaning that it will give you a close range of your square root. It may not give you the exact value in terms of rationalization, of rounding off, please, approximation. In terms of approximation, it might not give you exact, but it will give you a very close range. So take note, we have 1.75. So if you have your calculator, press the square root of 3 and compare this. So quickly compare this and check out for the square root of 3. Remember where we started from. This is just our formula. Please take note, this is where the solving started from. Don't be confused. A, square root of A plus B all over 2 square root of A. This is where the formula started, the solving started from. Don't be confused. We said that A is 4, B is minus 1. Take note, A is 4, B is minus 1. So we just substituted into the formula. Take note, this is our formula. This is our formula. Formula 1. Take note, this formula 1. We are going to use formula 2 to work on this. Okay, using formula 2, we are using formula 2 now to solve for solve 3. So what do we do? Remember, these are formula solution. We'll write that. We'll take this is our formula. Please take note. This is the formula. So which is surd A minus B all over 2 surd A. Take note. The first thing asks us, what are the two values that we subtract each other? Take note, that's the formula. What the formula is saying, A minus B, meaning that there are two values that will subtract each other to give you 3. One must be a perfect square, which is 4 minus 1. 4 minus 1. So we say that A is equals 4 and B is equals minus what? You can just put B is equals what? 1. B is equals what? 1, please. 4 and 1. 4 and what? 1. So let's input. This will now give us square root of 4 minus 1 over 2 bracket 1. So A, which is 4. So at the end of the day, you have that square root of 4 is 2 minus 1 over 2. Square root of 4 is 2. This will give us 2 minus 1 over 2 times 2 is 4. This will now give us 2 minus 0.25, which will give us 1.75. So using both methods, you will get the same answer. So if you take note, this formula 2, the only difference between formula 1 and formula 2 is this sign, the subtraction sign. In formula 1, we have addition sign. So take note, this is so 3. So we said these are formula square root of A minus B over 2 times square root of A, where A is 4 and B is 1. So square root of 4 minus 1 over 2 square root of 4, which is square root of 4 is 2, and then square root of 4 is again is 2. So this 2 is this 2. 2 times 2 is 4, which is giving us 1 over 4. 2 minus 1 over 4 in decimal is 0.25. Then 2 minus 0.25 is 1.75. If you want to know how I did this, you just try to take the video back and watch the process of how I got this. Subtracting this will give you 1.75. Okay, quickly, I want to look at the square root of 4 and 7. Square root of 4 and 7. So now let's look at square root of 4. Take note, 4 is a perfect square. So to look for the square root of 4, it's not going to be hard. So let's quickly do a work. We said solution. Square root of 4 is the same thing as 4 raised to power 1 over 2, which is the same thing. You turn this 2 to index form, which is 2 raised to power of 2. You close your bracket. This half raised to power half. This will give us 2. 2 times 1 is 2 over 2. This will cancel this to give us 2 raised to power 1, which is equals 2. As I will tell you, the square root of 4 is 2. Or you can say that the square root of 4 is equals 4. Look at what you do. Go square root of, turn 4 to index form, which is 2 raised to power 2. This will eliminate this. What you have left is 2. This is the shortest form. And then we go quickly to square root. So we can take alternative the third, or you can say divide by the lowest common factor of it, which is 4, divided by 2. Square root of 4, which is 4, divided by 2 is 2. 2 here is 1. So this factor, you carry out of 2, you pick 1, which is this 2 now will give us just 1, which is 2 times 2. This 2 will give us, you pick one of the 2, which is your answer. Out of these 2, you pick one of the 2. Look at it. The values we have here, you pick it in pair. As you pick it in pair, 2, 2, you just pick one out of a pair. One out of a pair. Okay, quickly, if you are still with us, remember, try to subscribe. I want to look at square root of 7. So remember our formula. Our formula is A minus B over 2 square root of A. Remember, the first question we asked, what are the two values that you will subtract to get 7? We said the two values, one of them must be a perfect square. We have that A is going to be 9 and B is going to be 2. Remember, 9 minus 2 will give us 7. So let's get started. Let's now replace or substitute into our formula. This will give us square root of 9 minus 2 all over 2 square root of 9. Square root of 9 is simply 3 minus 2 all over 2 square root of what? 9, which is also what? 3. This will give us 3 minus 2. 2 times 3. Remember we said that square root of 9 is now what? 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So what do you do next? You say 3 minus 2 divided by 6. Let's do a rough work here. 2 divided by 6. 6 into 2 is not possible. You write 0 points. You add 0 here. 6 into 20 is 3. Remainder what value? Remainder what? That's going to give us remainder 2. We put the 2 here. 6 into 2 is not, but you add 0 again. So it's 3 and 3 and 3 and so on and so forth. So this is going to give us 0.33. Therefore, to 2 decimal place, we're going to have 3.00 minus 0.33. This is 10 minus 3 is 7. What do you have here is 9. 9 minus 3 is 6 point. What we have left here is 2 minus 0 is 2. So we have that 2.67. So approximately this is the square root of what? 7. Take note. The square root of what? 7. This is it. Remember we said there are two values. You must first of all look for the two values that will give you 7. When you subtract them, you say 9 and 2 because one of them must be a perfect square. So 9 is a perfect square minus 2 will give us 7. So substitute into this our formula. Take note, this our formula. We have that 3 square root of 9 is 3 minus 2 over 2. Square root of 9 is 3. 3 minus 2 over 2 times 3 is 6. It will give us 3 minus 0.33 and 2.67. Take note, 3 minus this will give us, look at the workings here. Thank you. Please do subscribe. Then work on this, practice this in your the comment section. So we want to quickly look at the square root of 9. Square root of 9 quickly. I say it's going to be the same as what? 9 raised to the power of 1 over 2 in index form, which is the same as 3. This now will convert to index form raised to power 2 from bracket 1 over 2, which will give us 3. 2 times 1 is 2 all over 2. This will cancel this to give us 3 raised to power 1, which is what? 3. Or say that square root of 9 is equals to 9 square root of 3. 9 in index form is 3 raised to power 2. This will eliminate this. We have 3. This is the shortest way to find square root of numbers. Then, or alternatively, we can write 9 the square root of 3 using the least multiple of 9, factor of 9, which is 3, which is using 3 as one of the factors of 9. 3 into 3 into 9 is 3, and 3 here is 1. So this pair, which is 3 times 3, you pick 1, which is 3. So take note. Okay, you practice the following and keep your answer in the comment section. If you have learned something new today on how to look for square root of non-perfect square and perfect square. For example, this square root sub 2 now, we call it sub because it's the square root of non-perfect square. Sub 2, sub 5, and square root of what? 16. That is question number 3. So go and look for the square root of the 3 numbers and leave your answer in the comment section. Remember to subscribe if you have not subscribed to get future uploads. If you are enjoying our content, share this, follow us on Facebook, like, and then comment. Please, if you do have questions to ask, drop your questions in the comment section. We'll have time to attend to it.